over. That's all I can remember saying that date. May 8th, 2022. That's the date that I'll never forget. That was the date that I had finally gotten my daughter back after a year-long custody battle with the person that I trusted with my daughter while I did my 5 years in incarceration. It had been a year of tears, sleepless nights, constant driving back and forth to court. Um, it was just a lot of turmoil, but it was all worth it on one of the most symbolic days, Mother's Day. And this all started on May, actually, which May is just a symbolic month of May of 2014, when the feds came to let me know at 7:30 a.m. that the feds wanted me for a 25 count indictment. At that time, I was 8 months pregnant with my first child, and I had no idea what I was in store for. I knew this was something that I wasn't guilty of, but I found out later guilt or innocent doesn't matter. So I went through the whole trial process and was actually found guilty and was placed in custody during my sentencing hearing. And while I awaited sentencing, what I did was what I thought was the most responsible thing, and that was to place my only child with one of my most trusted people. And all I did was simply sign a power of attorney in case anything happened with her health or anything, that she would be taken care of. So I ended up getting 100 months and only serving 5 years of those 100 months due to COVID. Came home excited, ready for transition. The first 10 months, it was a little rough with the transition, but the transition ended up happening smooth. So the day I was due to walk out with Isabella, I was served with papers and said, hey, there's a joint custody agreement in place, but no big deal. Let's just go to court and resolve it. So I went to court to try to resolve it, and woe and behold, it was contested. So it was contested by the person that had her. So for the next year, it was just back and forth to court. Garnet Lighten was appointed. And the Garnet Lighten, the first thing that she told me was that if I took Isabella, that Isabella would actually be in a worse position with me because I had been gone to prison so long. But here I was. I'm Isabella's mother. During the entire 5 years, I stayed in touch. I wrote letters. She knew exactly who I was. I came home and did everything right. I went through mental health counseling. I went through counseling to make sure that I was transitioning her properly. So who was this lady to tell me that it wasn't appropriate for Isabella to be with me? So I did the next proper thing. I started researching custody laws in the state of Virginia. I also started researching in regards to going to prison and what effect that has on regaining custody of your child. And most importantly, I started researching the roles that these different officials actually play as far as custody issues. And those was one of the major things that actually worked in my favor in the end, because what I did was I began to file my own motions with the court to ask questions in regards to the role that the Garnet Lighten was playing. I also asked questions as to how was joint custody granted to someone without my permission and without letting me know. Those things were beneficial in actually on May 8th of getting that email from the person that I trusted most to let me know that she was now rescinding guardianship and that I would be awarded full custody of my daughter. So I just want to admonish to all women, not just women that's been affected by incarceration, but sometimes women that just have situations to happen in their life and they have to place their child with someone. Make sure before you place your child with someone that, number one, that you are aware of what the laws are in that state in order to regain custody. And number two, and most importantly, always know that your child is well off being with the mother, with the parents. That's if you're capable of taking care of them. And one thing that I never forgot and always stuck in my mind is that Isabella would be best with me. And now that I have her back, it's been a transition, but yet everything has worked out in a positive manner. We had the first little couple of rough months, but things have gotten better. And I'm just dedicated to speaking out to women that have experienced what I've experienced with separation from their child and being able to regain custody back. So never ever give up, and never ever lose sight of the fight, and always know that your child being with you is one of the most important things that would ever affect them in life. I want to thank the ladies that actually assisted us throughout this program on being so real and so supportive to us. It's something that I'll never forget. And if I never ever get to tell my story again, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to tell my story this time. Thank you. And thank you all for listening.